Arya had always imagined that space was full of wondrous shining stars, floating cities, and friendly explorers who traveled among the planets with curiosity in their hearts. She never thought she would experience the darker side of the galaxy, the side where some beings look down on others, not because of truth, but because of pride. At only 11 years old, she was still trying to understand why some species believed humans were weak, simple, or unimportant. She had heard adults debate such things, but she never expected to become the center of those judgments. Arya sat quietly on the smooth metallic floor of the alien skimmer, mindful of her injured leg. It was not a serious injury, just a sprain from slipping while running. But the aliens had exaggerated it in their mockery. They hovered around her in their tall, thin forms, with shimmering blue skin and long arms that moved like soft metal wires. Their voices carried a cold humor, as though her presence amused them. "She is so small," one of them said, tilting its head as though inspecting a strange toy. "Humans must grow slowly," another replied with a soft, echoing laugh. "Or maybe they simply remain weak forever." Arya pretended not to hear them. She could sense their curiosity, but also their judgment. They weren't hurting her. They were simply dismissive, which in its own way felt sharp. The aliens were known across sectors as the Karun. They were intelligent, advanced, and sometimes unkind. They valued strength, not the gentle strength of courage, but the harsh strength of control. Today they had captured Arya by accident when they were scanning a human settlement for resources. They had not planned to take any living beings. But when they saw her alone at the edge of a small habitat garden, they grabbed her out of pure interest. She had tried to explain that she was just a child, that she needed to go home, but they had seemed almost entertained by her sincerity. Now, as the skimmer descended toward a vast rocky plain, she wondered what their true intention was. The craft hummed softly, like a calm but distant voice, and the pale view of the planet below grew clearer and clearer. The landing zone was a wide valley surrounded by steep, shadowed cliffs. In the center lay a large opening in the earth, a cavern whose mouth glowed faintly with shades of gold and red. The Karun stepped out of the craft with long strides, calling for Arya to follow. She hesitated, pressing her small hand against the cool side of the skimmer as if it might offer protection. Then she took a slow breath and limped after them. The air here was dry but warm. Soft dust rose around her shoes as she walked, and the gentle wind carried a smell she could not identify, something ancient, like heated stones after rain. The Karun walked ahead of her, speaking among themselves in quiet tones. "Perfect offering," one said. "Yes, the Guardian will accept her," another agreed. "She will entertain it for a moment," a third added casually, "and perhaps it will ignore us." Arya frowned, uncertain. Offering Guardian? She had heard some stories about strange creatures across the galaxy, some peaceful, some dangerous, some simply lonely. But she did not know what lived deep inside this glowing cavern. She only knew that the aliens seemed confident and amused, as if they were placing her in front of something they did not want to face themselves. They stopped at the edge of the cavern. The entrance was huge, tall enough for a ship to glide through. Warm light spilled from inside, and low, rhythmic sounds drifted outward, like gentle breaths echoing through a large hollow space. "Come here." "Human child," one Karun said, waving a long hand as if calling over a small pet. "Do not fear. This is an honor for your species." Arya stepped forward slowly, careful of her leg. "Why did you bring me here?" she asked. Her voice trembled slightly, but remained steady enough to show she was trying her best to be brave. The aliens shared amused looks. "You are an offering," one replied calmly, "a symbolic gift to the Guardian of the Cavern. It respects gestures. We prefer not to enter alone." She blinked in confusion. "Why not choose one of you?" They laughed lightly, a soft metallic laughter. "We are valuable," one said proudly. "You are small, and your kind is known for softness." Arya didn't know how to respond to that. She wasn't soft, not in the way they meant. She had endured challenges before. She had helped raise younger cousins, comforted friends, and stayed calm during storms. But she didn't know how to explain this kind of strength to them. They motioned for her to move forward. She stepped into the cavern entrance, and the warm air brushed across her face like a gentle wave. Inside, the cavern shimmered with soft gold and light glowing from natural crystals embedded in the walls. The floor sloped gently downward, and a peaceful hum vibrated through the space. The alien stayed several meters behind her, clearly unwilling to go any deeper. Arya walked carefully until she saw a broad platform of smooth stone. She heard a deep sound from the shadows like a long exhale, not threatening but powerful. She froze. Something was there. The crones spoke loudly, projecting their voice into the cavern. Guardian of the cavern, we bring an offering, a small human example of their timid kind. Accept this gesture and allow us passage. Arya felt a small flash of heat in her cheeks. Timid? She wasn't timid. She had followed them despite her fear. She had walked down into this cavern even though she knew nothing of what lived here. But she stayed silent, knowing that arguing with them would change nothing. The deep sound came again. The ground vibrated softly, not enough to shake her, just enough to let her know something immense was awakening. She inhaled slowly, her heart beating faster, but her mind focusing. If something lived here, she needed to treat it with respect, not fear, not aggression. She believed in that. Her parents had taught her that living beings responded to intention. A large shape emerged from the shadows at the far side of the cavern. At first, it was only a silhouette, tall, graceful, and wide-winged. But as it stepped into the soft golden glow, Arya saw more clearly. It was not the kind of dragon from old Earth stories. It had no rough scales, no sharp edges. Its body seemed made of organic crystal and living fiber, smooth and luminous. Its wings were folded neatly, shaped like large metallic petals. Its eyes glowed softly like twin suns reflected in a deep lake. The creature moved with quiet dignity, radiating intelligence and ancient memory. The croon whispered excitedly behind her. It comes. Yes, it sees her. Good. Very good. The dragon-like creature lowered its head, observing Arya with calm interest. She stood very still, not from fear, but from awe. She felt its presence in the air warm. Curious, almost gentle. She whispered, "Hello." Her voice echoed softly. Carried by the cavern's acoustics, the creature blinked slowly, as if acknowledging her. A soft hum radiated from its chest, a sound that felt like a greeting rather than a warning. Arya's heart settled a little. She sensed no hostility from it, only curiosity and something like recognition. The croon stepped back further, hiding near the wall. It notices her injury, one muttered. Interesting. It is studying her. Perhaps it wonders why we offered someone so insignificant. Another added. Arya ignored them. She kept her eyes on the dragon-like being, focusing on its calm energy. Slowly, she raised her hand, not threateningly, just openly, the way she might approach a shy animal. She didn't expect it to understand the gesture, but it seemed right. The creature tilted its head slightly. Warm light pulsed through the lines along its body, glowing brighter for a moment as if responding to her courage. Its wings shifted softly, releasing tiny motes of gold and dust that floated through the air like gentle sparks. Arya felt something stir in the space between them, an unspoken connection. Delicate but real. The croon watched, confused. Why is it not dismissing her? Why does it hesitate? This is unusual. Arya didn't know what they expected, but she sensed that their assumptions were wrong. The creature didn't see her as a sacrifice. It didn't see her as weak. It saw her as something else entirely, something familiar, perhaps. She took another careful step forward. It's okay, she whispered. I'm not here to harm you. The creature lowered its head further, bringing its warm, glowing eyes level with hers. For a moment, time felt still. Arya felt the gentle breath from its nostrils, warm and steady. It reminded her of standing near a friendly, gigantic animal, one that recognized kindness. Behind her, the croon grew restless. Why is it not accepting the offering? Has it sensed something? Humans are unpredictable creatures. Arya tuned them out. She kept her focus on the creature, trusting her instinct. And then something extraordinary happened. The dragon-like being gave a soft, musical sound, like a harmonious chord. The golden crystals in the cavern brightened, reflecting the sound as though the cavern itself joined the greeting. Arya smiled, small and sincere. This wasn't the reaction the Kroon expected. It was only the beginning of something far greater. The cavern felt warmer now, as if the dragon-like creature's soft glow filled every corner of the space. Arya stood quietly, her small figure reflected in the smooth crystal walls around her. The Kroon aliens still waited near the entrance, watching with growing confusion. This was not the reaction they had predicted. They had expected the guardian of the cavern to ignore her or judge her unworthy. Instead, the creature seemed almost gentle, almost curious. Arya could feel the creature's presence as clearly as she felt her own heartbeat. There was something calming about it. Even though it was large and impressive, it did not feel frightening. It felt wise, as if it understood more than the aliens believed. The creature moved its head slightly, lowering it even further until its glowing eyes were only a short distance from Arya's face. She could see faint lines of golden light running across its surface, almost like veins of soft energy. The light pulsed gently, steady and calm. Arya wasn't sure what the creature wanted, but she sensed it was waiting for her to do something. She thought back to all the stories she had read about old earth animals, horses, dolphins, elephants, big creatures that responded to calm behavior. So she did the simplest thing she could think of. She smiled. The creature blinked slowly. The cavern air vibrated with a low musical hum, soft like a welcoming sound. The golden light across its body grew brighter for a moment, then settled again. Behind her, the Kroon murmured nervously, "Why is it reacting to her? This is not according to the records. Perhaps the Guardian senses something strange." Arya didn't turn around. She kept her focus on the creature. Her heartbeat was fast, but not from fear, more from amazement. She could not explain why she felt so comfortable. It was as if some gentle energy from the dragon drifted toward her like a warm breeze. The creature lifted one of its wings slightly. The motion was slow and graceful. Tiny golden particles like a soft, glowing mist floated from the wing's edge and drifted through the air. Some of the particles landed on Arya's hand and clothing. They didn't hurt or sting. Instead, they felt like warm snowflakes melting into her skin. The cavern responded again with a deeper hum, as if the walls themselves liked the creature's action. "What is happening?" A Kroon whispered sharply. "It is interacting with her. Humans cannot influence guardians. This is not expected." Arya lowered her gaze to her hands, watching the gold and dust disappear gently into her skin. For a moment, her injured leg felt a little lighter, not healed, not perfect, but more stable. She blinked, surprised. "Thank you," she whispered toward the creature. The dragon-like being made a soft sound again, like a note played from an ancient musical instrument. Arya thought it might be acknowledging her gratitude. The Kroon stepped forward slightly, though they still remained far back, unwilling to enter the central area. "Guardian," one of them called out, "we have brought an offering. Do you accept?" The creature did not look at them. Its attention stayed on Arya, as if the aliens weren't even important in its perception. It lowered its head once more, very slowly, until its nose almost touched the ground in front of her. Arya felt the meaning behind the gesture even if she did not fully understand how she understood. It wasn't a bow. It wasn't aggression. It was something like recognition, like the creature was seeing her not as a sacrifice, but as someone who deserved respect. Arya placed her hand gently on the ground, not touching the creature, but showing calmness. "It's okay," she said softly. "I'm not here to cause problems." The creature lifted its head again, its glowing eyes warm and bright. A soft ripple of light passed through its crystalline body. Arya's thoughts were scattered with wonder. She had never imagined a creature like this, alive, luminous, intelligent, would show interest in someone like her. She felt honored, but also humbled. This moment felt larger than anything she had lived before. The Kroon, however, were restless. "Why is it ignoring us? What did we miscalculate? Humans should not be able to bond with such a being." Arya didn't like the way they spoke. It wasn't that she expected them to understand her connection with the creature, but their tone felt dismissive, as if she was a mistake in their plan. The dragon-like being finally turned its head slightly toward the Kroon, not aggressively, but with clear awareness. Its wings unfurled a little more, and the golden light along its sides brightened. The alien stepped back immediately. It notices us. One exclaimed, "Good, good, it may accept our presence." Another added hopefully. But the creature did not move closer to them. It simply acknowledged their presence, then shifted its focus back to Arya. Arya felt a small surge of relief. She didn't want the creature to get upset or stressed. The Guardian began emitting another soft sound, this one a gentle pattern, like rhythmic notes in the air. The notes bounced off the cavern walls, filling the space with a peaceful resonance. Arya felt the sound deep inside her chest, comforting in a way she could not describe. "What is this behavior?" the Karun asked, puzzled. "It is communicating," one guessed. But with her, that seems to be the case. Arya wondered if the creature was trying to sense her thoughts, or maybe share its own. The air around her felt warmer again, and she sensed images, not clear visions, just impressions. Soft colors, gentle waves, a memory of something ancient. The creature lifted one of its front limbs slightly. It did not raise it to frighten her. It simply placed it softly on the stone floor between them. Arya felt drawn to the gesture. She stepped forward, slow and steady. "Do you understand me?" she asked with curiosity rather than fear. The creature's eyes brightened, and the musical hum sounded again. Shorter this time, as if answering dot behind her. The Karun exchanged frantic whispers. "The Guardian understands her." "This is impossible. No human should create a link with a Guardian being. She is not doing anything special." "Then why does it respond?" Arya understood why they were confused. She didn't know how she was doing it either. She simply acted with respect and kindness, the only way she knew how to act. The creature moved closer, now only a step away. Its warm breath flowed gently over her face, soft and calming. Arya looked up into its glowing eyes, and she felt a strange certainty that the creature trusted her. A small thought came to her mind, not a voice, not a sentence, just a soft, warm feeling, like a message carried in emotion instead of words. "You are safe." Arya didn't know how she knew, but she felt it clearly. She nodded gently, understanding. "Thank you," she said again. The creature responded by lowering its head and placing its glowing forehead near her hand, as if inviting her to touch it. Arya hesitated only a moment. Then she reached out and touched the smooth, warm crystal surface of the creature's head. It felt like polished stone, yet somehow alive beneath the surface. A gentle pulse of energy passed through her hand, not painful, simply warm and bright. The golden lines across the creature's body glowed intensely for a few seconds, spreading outward in beautiful patterns. The cavern crystals lit up, reflecting the same warm tone. Even the Karun fell silent. Arya felt her breath catch. It was beautiful, like standing inside a living sunrise. The creature stepped back slightly, then made another musical sound, gentler this time. Arya sensed gratitude, understanding, and something she could only describe as recognition of spirit. She had earned its trust. The Karun were stunned. "This is not what was planned," one whispered. "The Guardian chose her. This changes everything. Humanity. How did they gain such influence?" Arya looked back at them briefly, then returned her attention to the creature. She didn't know what would happen next, but she knew one thing: she was no longer alone. The mighty guardian of the cavern, a creature feared by many, had chosen to stand with her, and somewhere deep within the glittering walls, a new energy seemed to awaken, as if the cavern itself had recognized the bond forming between a small human girl and an ancient living marvel. This moment was the beginning of something far greater than the Karun had imagined. The golden light inside the cavern slowly dimmed to its natural soft glow, but the feeling in the air remained warm and full of quiet wonder. Arya gently stepped back from the dragon-like creature, though she still felt its calm energy lingering around her like a protective aura. The Karun stared in silent disbelief. Their tall blue figures looked unusually still, as if they feared even breathing too loudly might disturb the strange connection unfolding before them. For a long moment, no one spoke. Arya looked up at the creature again, trying to understand what had just happened. She had touched at something the Karun had believed impossible, and it had responded with trust, warmth, and a kind of ancient acknowledgement. She might not have fully understood everything, but she knew one thing clearly: the creature wasn't dangerous. It wasn't mindless. It wasn't something to be feared. It was wise. She could feel that now. The creature slowly folded its wings against its smooth crystal-like body and lowered itself to sit on the wide stone platform. Its soft golden eyes remained locked gently on Arya, as if waiting for her next emotion. Next question, next thought. Arya hesitated, then walked closer and sat down on the warm stone floor. Her sprained leg felt strangely lighter, maybe from the creature's earlier touch, or maybe from her slowly building courage. She wasn't sure, but she wasn't fearful anymore. "Are you alone down here?" she asked softly. The creature's eyes flickered with gentle light. Another soft musical vibration hummed from its body and spread through the cavern walls. It wasn't a spoken word, yet Arya felt the meaning inside her mind like a faint echo. Long time. Alone. Arya blinked. She wasn't imagining it. She was somehow understanding the feeling behind the sound. The creature had been here for ages, maybe longer than any human had been alive. A guardian left behind by a species far older. A being waiting in silence, living in the echo of ancient memories. Her heart tightened a little. "That sounds lonely," she whispered. The creature tilted its head slowly, as if considering her comment. Another gentle hum came, and Arya sensed something like acceptance and an old longing. It made her want to offer the same comfort she would offer a friend or a shy animal. "I'm sorry," she said quietly. "I don't think anyone should be alone for that long." Behind her, the croon shifted uncomfortably. They had stayed silent to avoid disturbing the moment, but now they whispered among themselves again. "Is it actually communicating? Through emotion? Through frequency resonance? This is beyond what our records explain. The Guardian was created by a civilization more advanced than us. Perhaps it responds to emotional patterns. But why hers? Why a human child?" They had spent years believing humans were simple and unimportant. This moment was challenging everything they thought they knew. The creature's soft golden eyes slowly drifted away from Arya and toward the croon. The gentle glow along its wings brightened slightly, but there was no threat in the gesture. It was simply acknowledging them, finally giving them some small fraction of attention. The croon straightened. "Guardian," one said earnestly, "we offer you respect and wish to pass through your territory safely." But the creature did not react. It did not flick its tail, did not move its wings. It simply turned its head back to Arya, as though the alien's words were background noise. Arya looked between the creature and the aliens. She could tell the croon didn't understand why the creature responded only to her. She didn't fully understand it either, but she was ready to try, maybe. She whispered to herself, "It understands feelings more than words." The croon's language had been mostly cold, confident, and distant. Arya's had been calm, sincere, and kind. Maybe that made a difference. She placed her hand on her chest and spoke again, slowly so the creature could feel her meaning. "I understand you. I respect you, and I appreciate you." A soft warmth spread across the cavern again, like a comforting wave. The creature emitted a long, peaceful hum, and the golden crystals around the walls glowed brighter. Arya smiled. She had been right. The croon looked even more bewildered. How is she guiding it? She is a child, a human child. This is impossible. Unless what? Unless the Guardian responds to emotional clarity. Humans are known for strong emotional imprints. Arya wasn't listening to their theories. Her attention remained on the creature. She wondered if it knew what it was meant to protect, or if it even remembered its creators. Maybe it had been alone for so long that time lost meaning. The creature blinked slowly, and Arya sensed something else, another set of impressions reaching toward her mind. They came like soft waves, not sharp pictures, but she could still sense them. A tall, older civilization, bright structures of crystal and light, a peaceful world, and the presence of beings who value compassion, intelligence, and empathy. Arya gasped softly. She didn't see the images fully, but she felt the emotions behind them, gentle, warm, wise. A civilization that built guardians not as weapons, but as protectors of knowledge, protectors of harmony. "You were made by good people," she whispered. The creature hummed again, the tone slightly bittersweet. The croon finally stepped closer. unable to hold their curiosity. Human child, one said, trying to sound calm. What is it showing you? Arya looked back. Memories. I think. Feelings, not words. Just feelings. The croon exchanged glances. We need details, one said sharply. We must understand its purpose. We should bring her to our ship in nitrogen monoxide. The last word wasn't spoken by the creature, but the tone behind the creature's next hum clearly carried a meaning similar to now. The sound vibrated through the crystal walls, gentle but firm. The cavern shimmered as if responding in agreement. Arya turned back to the creature. It doesn't want to go, she said softly. Or, she added after a moment, maybe it doesn't want me to go with you. The croon stiffened. This guardian is interfering, one muttered. This was not planned, another said quietly. Arya stood up slowly. Her leg didn't protest as much now, and she could stand without wobbling. She walked closer to the creature and placed her hand near its smooth crystalline surface again, not touching it this time, but offering a comforting gesture. I don't know what you want me to do, she whispered, but I want to help you. If you're alone, or confused, or waiting for something, I want to understand. The creature blinked, and a ripple of soft light spread across its wings. Its eyes glowed brighter, and Arya sensed more impressions filling her thoughts, a signal. Hidden deep within the cavern, a call meant for those who understood compassion. Something ancient, something waiting. Arya gasped again, then looked back at the croon. It has a signal, she said. Something inside the cavern. Something important. The croon immediately stepped forward. What kind of signal? Who activated it? The guardian? The human? Arya didn't know how to explain everything she felt, but she tried her best. It wasn't activated by me, she said. It was asleep, waiting. But when I touched it, something woke up a little. The creature lowered its head next to her again, gentle as ever. As if confirming her words, the croon seemed stunned. An ancient signal. From an advanced civilization. This could change our understanding of history. But why awaken for a human child? Arya took a quiet breath. Maybe because humans care, she said simply. Maybe because we tried to understand others. Maybe that's what the creators wanted. The croon looked unconvinced. They had always believed strength was more important than compassion. The creature gently nudged Arya's shoulder with its warm crystal forehead. Arya smiled and rested her hand on its cheek-like surface. The creature radiated a soft golden energy that wrapped around her like a gentle breeze. The croon stared silently. The creature lifted its wings and gave a low, calm sound that echoed like a melodic bell. The cavern crystals lit up again, brighter this time, as if responding to the creature's awakening strength. A soft tremor ran through the floor, not dangerous, just enough to signal that something deep within the cavern had begun to stir. Arya stepped back slightly and looked around, amazed. It woke something. She whispered. The croon stared in awe. What is happening? Is the guardian unlocking something? Why now? Arya didn't know the answer, but she sensed this was not a warning. It was an invitation, an old message meant for those who carried empathy, not dominance. The creature's eyes softened. The hum in the cavern grew deeper, warmer, and Arya felt a gentle wave of reassurance wash over her. She understood the message. She was not supposed to be afraid. She was supposed to learn. And somewhere far above the cavern, far beyond the rocky planet, a faint signal escaped into the sky, reaching distances no one could imagine. A signal that humanity would soon receive. A signal that would change everything. The soft tremor in the cavern slowly faded, but the air still hummed with gentle energy. Arya stood quietly beside the dragon-like guardian, her hand resting lightly against its warm crystal surface. She could feel its calm breathing, steady and deep, almost like the steady rhythm of a giant musical instrument. Every so often, a wave of soft golden light pulsed across its body, matching the peaceful hum in the walls around them. The croon remained several steps back, unsure of what to do. Their earlier confidence had disappeared. They no longer mocked humans. They no longer treated Arya like a small, unimportant creature. Instead, they watched her with something close to respect mixed with confusion, mixed with uncertainty. Arya didn't pay much attention to them. Her focus stayed on the Guardian. She still didn't fully understand what the ancient signal meant, but she knew it was important. She could feel it deep inside, the same way she felt a warm breeze or soft sunlight. Something old had awakened, and it was calling out to the universe. Is the signal dangerous? Arya asked softly. The creature lifted its head slightly and emitted a slow, low hum. She immediately sensed the meaning behind it. No, not danger. Message. Call. Arya nodded, relieved. So, it's calling someone. Or something? Another soft hum vibrated through the cavern. Behind her, the croon whispered quietly. A message from an ancient civilization. To whom? To what purpose? This could change the balance of knowledge. Arya didn't think about balance of knowledge or power. She only wondered what the Guardian wanted. Is the message meant for your creators? She asked. The creature paused. Its wings shifted slightly, and a dim flicker of golden light traced across its sides. Arya felt the meaning again, but it wasn't simple. The creature's creators might be gone. The signal wasn't calling them specifically. It was calling anyone who carried the qualities they admired: compassion, courage, humility. Understanding. Humans. Arya felt her breath catch. It's calling. My people? The Guardian hummed. The meaning was gentle, like a soft whisper. Yes. Far above the cavern, far above the rocky planet, the message had already traveled into space. And at that very moment, a human patrol vessel detected a faint signal on their long-range scanners. It was unusual, old, full of unknown patterns. The human crew immediately began recording and decoding it back in the cavern. Arya didn't know any of that yet. She only felt a strange warmth pressing softly against her heart, as if someone far away was slowly reaching toward her. Her thoughts were interrupted by the croon stepping forward. Human child, one said cautiously. This signal, it may attract others, perhaps even your own people. Arya nodded. I hope so. The croon exchanged nervous glances. If humans arrive, one murmured, they will see we took you. They may question our motives. Arya looked at them calmly. You didn't hurt me, she said simply. And now you know something you didn't know before. The croon looked surprised by her fairness. They expected humans to act harshly the moment they gained power or advantage. But Arya didn't think that way. She had never been taught to seek dominance. She had been taught to understand. The Guardian lowered its head next to Arya again, as though agreeing with her gentle approach. A bright pulse of golden light spread across its wings. The cavern crystals glowed in response. Then something unexpected happened. A soft beep echoed through the cavern. Arya blinked. The croon turned sharply. The Guardian lifted its head, eyes brightening. Another beep. Then a faint voice broken. But human echoed from the croon's communication device. Arya, respond. Human vessel approaching sector. Picking up a known signal. Arya gasped. That's my people. The croon froze. This is early, one said nervously. Their ships travel fast, another murmured. We must act carefully. Arya's heart beat quickly, not out of fear, but hope. Her people were close. They had received the signal and were coming. She didn't know how long it would take before they reached the cavern, but she knew she wasn't alone anymore. The Guardian stepped forward, unfolding its wings slightly. It wasn't threatening. It looked proud. Arya sensed something like excitement. It had waited centuries for a species capable of connecting with it, and now that moment was near. Will you help them? Arya asked the Guardian. A warm hum answered her. She felt the meaning in her chest. Yes, humanity. Welcome. The croon slowly backed away. They were uneasy, but not hostile. They had come expecting to use the Guardian as a distraction or a symbolic offering. Instead, they witnessed a moment of ancient significance, something far beyond their expectations. Arya turned to them. You can stay, she said softly, if you want to learn. The croon blinked. Learn from humans? Learn from the Guardian? Both ideas were new to them. Arya shrugged gently. Everyone can learn, even different species. It's better than mocking each other. The croon watched her for a long, silent moment. Then slowly, almost awkwardly, they nodded. The Guardian stepped toward the center of the cavern and lifted its head high. For the first time, it extended its wings fully. The wings were beautiful, like two giant sheets of glowing crystal reflecting golden light into every corner of the cavern. The air vibrated softly with a peaceful melody, and tiny golden sparks floated upward like warm glowing dust. Arya's eyes widened with wonder. "It's beautiful," she whispered. The Kroon couldn't deny it. Their expressions softened. The moment humbled them. The Guardian took a few graceful steps toward the cavern entrance. Its wings shimmered as it looked upward toward the sky. It was waiting for the humans to arrive, waiting for the species that had awakened something lost. Arya followed it slowly. When she reached the entrance, she saw the sky turning pale blue. She didn't know how long it would take for the rescue ship to land, but she felt certain that help was already on the way. Minutes passed quietly. Then, far above the horizon, a soft streak of light appeared. A small spacecraft descended gently, its engines glowing in controlled blue waves. Arya felt joy rush through her chest. "They're here," she whispered. The Guardian stepped forward, resting one wing lightly around her like a soft protective curtain. It wasn't possessive, it was symbolic, a gesture showing that the girl was not a prisoner, but a friend. The Kroon stood back respectfully. They didn't want conflict. They were witnessing something too important. The human vessel landed with a gentle thud on the rocky ground outside the cavern. The door opened slowly. Several humans stepped out, dressed in exploration suits. Their eyes widened when they saw Arya standing beside the Guardian, completely safe, unharmed, and accompanied by a giant glowing creature. "Arya," one of them called. She smiled brightly. "I'm okay." They ran toward her, relieved and amazed. The Guardian remained calm, watching them with soft golden eyes. The human explorers approached carefully, recognizing the creature's quiet grace. Arya reached out her hand and touched the Guardian's head gently. "This is my friend," she said softly. "It helped me, and it wants to help us." The humans could hardly believe her words, but they saw the truth in the creature's peaceful behavior. One of the explorers whispered, "This is incredible. A sentient guardian, ancient, and it chose to trust a child." The Kroon stepped forward humbly. "This human child awakened something we did not understand," one said. "We acknowledge our misunderstanding." The humans nodded politely. They were not angry. They were focused on the strange and beautiful moment unfolding before them. Arya looked at the Guardian. "You're not alone anymore," she whispered. The creature hummed softly, the meaning clear. "Together. New beginning." The humans, the Kroon, and the Guardian all stood at the entrance of the cavern as the golden crystals glowed gently. Behind them, the ancient signal had brought them together, not as enemies or rivals, but as witnesses to a turning point in history. For the first time in many years, the Guardian had hope. For the first time in their lives, the Kroon had humility. An Arya, an 11-year-old human girl, had changed the future with kindness. Humanity had not come to conquer. They had come to understand, and the universe would never forget that moment.